JewWario at E3, at E3, JewWario at E3, at E3. He's gonna show you the games that you wanna see. He's gonna show you the games. JewWario hanging out at E3, nothing's ever the same. JewWario at E3, at E3, JewWario at E3, E3.
Hey everybody, JewWario here at E3, and I've got a very special interview here. Xseed didn't have a group here at E3, but we have a localization specialist, Tom Lipschultz from Xseed Games. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for meeting with me, Tom. I appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Oh, most certainly. Well, I'm really a big fan of Xseed because you guys do the best, you choose the best games from Japan to import and bring them over and localize and for people to play. You've got Retro Game Challenge. We're not going to go over Retro Game Challenge 2, I promise myself. Fragile Dreams. You are doing all the E's practically for the PSP. And you do such a good job on it. The translation is practically spot on. How did you get into Xseed Games?
Pure luck. I mean, it basically was
like
dumb
it
luck.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I worked at Mythic Entertainment for 5.5 years before coming here. It's a EA company. I was working on Warhammer Online.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was a great company, but there were layoffs and such, and I got hit by them. So I was looking for another job. I was applying to all sorts of different places. I applied at Xseed even though there were no openings listed, and they basically said they'd keep my resume on file. I kept looking for more jobs, like maybe 4 months later or so, I accepted a job where I was going to go to Japan. I had signed the forms and everything, and then like I think it was like faded or something, because after signing the contract and all of that, never heard from them again. Like they just dropped off the face of the earth. They didn't respond to any more emails or anything. And not a couple days after I started to get a little worried about that, I got a call from Xseed saying, like, you know, or actually I got an email from Xseed saying that they wanted to do a phone interview with me, and it just sort of went from there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So now, as a localization specialist, what do you exactly do in Xseed?
So far, I mean, Xseed's a really tiny company, so everybody does a little bit of everything. But so far, most of my work has been in editing. Basically, someone else will translate, they'll pass the script to me, and I'll edit it and make it sound more natural in English. You know, make sure there are no mistranslations or anything. Make sure it has a dynamic quality to it or something. And sometimes I'll do some additional translation and stuff. I'm currently actually translating a game from scratch for, I guess not the first time, but this will be the first game Xseed releases that will have been translated by me, so I'm really excited.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
So is that exciting? So you've been speaking Japanese all your life, you took classes?
I took classes in college. I basically got into anime as a kid, and I played a lot of video games. So yeah, I took classes in college, ended up doing a 5-week summer study program through my college, and then I moved to Japan for 2 years via the JET program.
Yes.
Yeah, taught English in Japan for a bit. Actually right in the area that was hit by the tsunami too. So,
Really?
yeah.
Really? Did you contact some of your friends
and
make sure?
some of my friends. If anybody from Shichigahamachi is watching this, I hope everything's going okay with cleanup efforts and such. My thoughts are with you, definitely.
Now, how does Xseed actually find titles and decide upon things? Like, I mean, to get the East series almost as a whole to release them, that's a big thing. I mean, that's a huge thing. How do you guys figure out, yes, we like this title, no, we don't like this title?
Well, actually, the E-Series is a good thing to bring up, because that's one of the things I forgot to mention. Part of the reason I got hired at Xseed was because I'm like diehard East fan, diehard Falcom fan, and I had been writing into Xseed for years, telling them to localize East games and telling them, like, here's why I think it would sell well, and all, like, going into grave detail. And so when it came time for them to hire a new localization specialist. They remembered me from my fan rants over the many years. So yeah, basically, anytime we see any title that looks even remotely interesting to us, we sort of forward it on to our PR guy, we forward it on to our marketing guy. He takes a look at it, and if it meets the approval of PR and marketing, the president of the company takes a look at it. If he likes it, we all evaluate it. We all play it for a few hours, get a feel for it, and sort of write an evaluation saying what we think of it, what we think of different aspects of the game, the graphics, the sound, the gameplay, fun factor, etc. And if we gave it a high enough score, then basically the next time our president is in Japan, he'll try to contact the company and get the rights to it, is usually how it goes. And he usually comes back with a lot of, possibilities, and then we have to sort of narrow it down from there. So.
Now, are you able to ever try games that haven't come out onto the market in Japan yet? Do you have context for that, or do you have to wait until a game does come out in Japan, you import and go, oh wow, we need this? Or
both of those situations do occur.
Oh,
We do have working relationships with some Japanese companies who, basically occasionally are like, hey, we got this game, we thought you guys might be a good company to localize it. Give it a shot, see what you think. If you have any suggestions, let us know. So sometimes we also get to give feedback to the developer as well, which is pretty exciting. It doesn't happen that often, but it's exciting when it does.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, and you even just got out of a meeting. I'm not going to ask about what it was about, because that's still probably very, very hush-hush. But so that happens all the time, where you get to meet with people and talk about these things.
Not me personally, usually. This is one of the few times where I've been able to participate in one of those meetings, and it's because it was actually our parent company, and they're in town for E3, so they wanted to basically meet with us and just sort of have a company-to-company chat, I guess.
Excellent,
so, yeah.
Excellent. Well, now, is there any... This is E3, and we talk about games that are coming out. Last year, it was Ivy the Kiwi. I really liked Ivy the Kiwi. Fragile Dreams, like I said, was one of my favorites, but we didn't see it at E3. What? Can you give a hint, or maybe even a title, or a nudge to something to get people excited about what you guys might be producing here in Xseed?
I got special permission, actually, to give a hint, but I can't give any titles, unfortunately, because we actually have a lot of games that we're in, I guess, the gaming equivalent of pre-production with, where we're just sort of like feeling the waters. We don't have any idea. In some cases, we don't have any idea if we're even going to get the license for sure, but we're pretty sure we will. And in other cases, we have the license, but we haven't really started work yet, so we have no idea what's going to be involved, how long it'll take, which is why we aren't announcing them yet. I mean, we gotta make sure to give some leeway there.
Okay.
But there is a title that I started translating 2 weeks ago that I'm really, really excited about. It's a very unique horror title on the PSP that I really, really recommend. When it comes out, you guys definitely have to check it out. It is the first title that I am translating myself. I actually, we got the title because I bought the Japanese game and really liked it, and sent it to our marketing guy and was like, hey, you should check this out, see if it's something we'd like. And it went through the whole process, and everybody liked it, and we got the rights to it. And I can't believe that I'm actually getting to work on this game that, I feel like, man, if this game flops, I'm in trouble. But yeah, but no.
But if and that's one of the nice things you've told me about the company. If one person likes it and then another person likes it, then everybody plays it. So it kind of becomes like a community thing.
It does.
So they can say, yeah, this is going to be a great title, or maybe we should shy away from it.
This one's really cool, though. I've always thought with horror games, I love horror games, survival horror, horror adventure, but I've always thought, it seems like most horror games nowadays are like shooting zombies or whatever, and that's not really scary. It's exciting, but it's not really scary. I think the two things that you need to keep in mind with horror are, it's not what you see that's frightening, it's what you don't see. It's what you know is lurking out there, but you haven't seen it for an hour, and you just are like, when's it gonna come, kind of thing. And also, I think one of the big things that can make any game or movie or anything more frightening is helplessness. Like, if you have a weapon, if you can fight back, that's not really that scary. I mean, it's exciting and it can be a little scary, but if you have no way of fighting back, if, like, you see something and you know it's run or die, then that's scary. And there are very few horror games that have done that successfully. A good example of one that I think has in the past is Clock Tower on the PlayStation 1. Love that game, and its Japanese predecessor on the Super Famicom also. Really, really great games. And this is a very different type of game than Clock Tower, but it has that same sense of pervading fear, where you go long stretches and nothing happens, and when something does happen, you are just screwed. And it is a really genuinely creepy, nightmarish game, and I can't wait for people to play it. I'm really hoping we can get it out before Halloween, but it's still way too early in the process to say for sure. We're hoping for that, though. That's what we're shooting for. So keep an eye out for announcements. Hopefully we'll be able to at least announce that the game is coming sometime soon. So.
Wow, I mean, that's only a couple of months away, so to get... How long does it usually take for, when you've purchased the rights to a game, how long does it take to translate and go, okay, we've now got a date between now and then?
It depends on the length of the game, basically. This game is not super duper short, but it's not super duper long either. The amount of text in it is just right that I mean, based on the 2 weeks I've spent so far on it, I think I could get this whole game translated in about a month and a half.
Wow.
And then it needs to go into editing, and then it needs to go into QA and stuff, and then it needs to also have the programming done, which... I mean, there could be catastrophic failure along the way. They could come back and say, we gotta give you line length limits of 8 characters per line, and then I'll be like, duh! But, I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and we can get it out really quickly. I mean, knock on wood on that, but, I mean, that's what we're hoping for, so
that
definitely
sounds
keep an eye out
exciting.
for future announcements.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, is there anything you might like to tell the fans out there of Xseed or the people who are watching this?
I mean, I hesitate to bring this up because I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, but I know we've gotten a lot of questions about this, so Trails in the Sky fans, we have not forgotten you. Trails 2 is like the giant dinosaur in the room looming over us. We can't help but notice it, and we're doing everything we can, but it's still one of those things, like, if we devoted all of our time and resources to Trails 2, we would go out of business long before the game was released, so just bear with us and keep watching for announcements, and hopefully nothing happens, and hopefully all goes well, but we have not forgotten you, I swear.
And thanks to all the Xseed fans out there, continue to buy these products. They do a really great job. And once again, Tom, it's an honor to actually have met you, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you very much too. Huge fan of your show, so.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, that's it. JewWario here at E3 with Xseed. Keep on watching and see what we come out with next.
JewWario.